Hello, everybody. Welcome inside the War Room. It's been a long time since we've done anything content related that's not picks or a recap. But here we are. Reacting to the news from, I guess if you're watching this the next day, from yesterday morning for you guys, but this morning for us. Kai Kara-France woke up this morning, saw he wasn't in the rankings, and we were all confused. Like, why is KKF not in the rankings anymore? So we wanted to dive into that a little bit. Obviously, Ariel Helwani kind of broke down why KKF is not in the rankings. We're going to get into that pretty shortly here. We're just pulling up the tweet. And then as a whole, we wanted to go over all the rankings updates because there were a lot of them, including in welterweight, pretty much all around. So flyweight and welterweight are the ones we're going to focus on. We'll take a look at the other divisions too. But if you enjoy us doing content like this, where we kind of go over the rankings after they get released on Tuesday, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Let us know in the comments if this is something you enjoy. Obviously, you're trying all this for the first time, just seeing if it works. But let's get into this KKF news real quick. Also, socials down on the bottom. Let's see here. So Ariel Helwani said, I did reach out to Kai Kara-France's team. They confirmed that, yes, he's no longer in the rankings. They told me that he informed the UFC he would be taking the year off to focus on other things. So he's not retiring. He's taking a hiatus. He's not being cut. He will not be part of the rankings until he notifies the UFC that he is returning and re-enters the pool. Now, the first thing I think about immediately is Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner kind of had a situation similar to this where after he got submitted by Ignacio Bahamondes at UFC 313 earlier this year, he said he was going to retire. And he said he was retiring what we presumed for good. And my stance on UFC retirements has been no one ever really retires. So the fact that KKF is saying he's not retiring, I think we'll see him back in the octagon pretty soon. But obviously, if he wants to take the year off and focus on other things, hey man, you just fought for the title. You got submitted. If you need a regroup, if you need to do these things, go ahead. I think you've earned it. But I do find it interesting that he got wiped from the rankings immediately. Think about all the names that have kind of gotten that time. You know, especially I think of a guy like John Jones. Now, granted, Kai Kara-France is not the champion, but John Jones was able to be inactive and hold on to that belt for as long as he wanted to without the UFC enforcing any sort of action on him.
That's true.
But again, granted, you take it with a grain of salt. Kai Kara-France and John Jones were two very, very different situations. But Chris, what do you think, man? I mean, what does this bode for Kai Kara-France's future? Obviously, he was still going to be in relative title contention. You know, if he'd won his next fight, maybe he would have won one more, and you're right back in the picture. So I wonder what the future will look like now that he's taking 2026 off.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I was struggling a little bit to kind of fit him into this flyweight picture with a lot of surging contenders and, you know, up and comers that we've been seeing recently. A lot of people making big statements. But when I saw this news break, my first thought, and you mentioned it, of him just being completely wiped out of the rankings, like just right off the face of the UFC, is that I hope everything's okay in his life. I'm not sure if he's dealing with something that is requiring him to take time off. So whatever it is, praying for Kai Kara-France that everything's okay. And if he needs a break, hey, take what you need. Mental health is a big thing, especially in a very mental sport like UFC, where, you know, it's just you and yourself and your team and you're in the octagon. And, you know, those solo sports really put a lot of pressure on the athlete, because in a team setting, you know, obviously you don't want to throw around blame, but a lot of pieces have to be moving together. In a solo sport like the UFC, you know, tennis, golf, the only person you can, you know, point the finger at is yourself. So if he's taking time to regroup after, you know, what was a little bit of a harsh run at flyweight in the past year or two, I really hope that everything's okay with him. And yeah, I think we'll learn a little bit more about this in the future, but definitely a big shock to me. Someone who's been a staple in this flyweight division, grizzled vet. He has an immense amount, of first round knockouts in the UFC. I don't know. Does he have the record? I think he has the record in the UFC.
First round knockouts?
Yeah, for first round knockouts.
Just within the division.
Within the division. Okay, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, within the division. So very entertaining fighter. I really hope that everything is okay with him. And yeah, I think we'll find out a little bit more about this, but a shocker for sure.
Yeah, and another name I was thinking of, speaking of heavyweights, Stipe Miocic. Stipe Miocic was out for, 4 years before fighting John Jones.
Yeah.
And he was still at number 8 in the rankings when he eventually came back. So I do think
weird.
it's very interesting, kind of the politics within the UFC and how they go about this stuff. And obviously the names they want to keep in there, the names they want to, kind of eject immediately. And unfortunately, Kai Kara-France was one of those names. And as you said, Chris, you were kind of figuring out how he was going to fit into that title picture. If you've watched our previous episodes, you've seen us do matchmaking before. We made Kai Kara-France fight a lot of people. Like we had him matched up against Asu Amabayev. We had him up against, the Tim Elliots of the world, like all these different people who are kind of hovering in that 5 to 10 range. But now it's like, okay, I don't want to say he was the odd man out, but I think the title picture does become a little bit clearer when he's not in it. And that's no slight to Kai Kara-France. He's obviously a very, very entertaining fighter. He's definitely a vital part of the division. But I think we can get a little bit of a better sense of where the rankings are going to be. And we'll pull up the rankings right now for you. We're going to go over it right now because there have been a couple of new additions, ones that we haven't gone over recently. Most notably, Joseph Morales was a big one that came up. He's sitting at 14 right now. And we'll break that down a little bit. But overall, Kai Kara-France, obviously, as Chris mentioned, a staple in the flyweight division. He will definitely be missed. But we'll see when he comes back. Maybe he comes back and he's a different beast. So let's get into these rankings real quick.
I also think he might have been removed from the rankings because he withdrew himself from the anti-doping pool too. So that might be a reason.
Okay.
I'm not sure. That's just like a little more context to the situation. But yeah, just very weird. I really hope that everything's okay because it seems like, if he's already premeditated, he's taking a year off, there is something occupying his time for at least a year in his future. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe the anti-doping pool has something to do with it. I don't think John Jones or Miocic removed themselves from the anti-doping pool.
That's what I was thinking. I don't think they ever did.
Yeah.
We just kind of assumed Stipe was retired.
Right. Yeah. He, without saying it, and with him being at his age, you kind of wouldn't doubt it, but Stipe's a dog, came back. The other guy, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to give him the spotlight right now, but yeah, no, definitely. I really hope everything's okay with Kai. Seems like he needs some time off. So definitely take it, come back stronger than you were before. But yeah, also you mentioned Joseph Morales in the rankings, a big win in what was it, 2 weeks ago? So yeah, really happy to see him up there. And we got some staples, a lot of upwards.
Real quick. We're missing the elephant in the room. Can you zoom in on pound for pound real quick?
Yes,
because we have been used to seeing a different face on top for the past few months, but now Islam Makhachev reclaims the top spot on pound for pound. No arguments from this side, no arguments from the war room. This guy is the pound for pound number 1 fighter in the world. He has earned it. Ilia Topuria moves down to 2. And if we go down the list, I don't think anything else has changed. I believe Tom Aspinall is now over Jack Della Maddalena, which makes sense. Jack Della lost. They have not ousted him from pound for pound. And then Dricus, Max Ankalaev, Bilal, Arman Sarukian, Charles Oliveira. And if Arman Sarukian gets a win this weekend, he could be going up the pound for pound rankings too. So we'll keep an eye out on how that goes. UFC Qatar predictions will be out this week. Stay tuned for that. All right, let's now move over to flyweight. Obviously, at the top of the division, everything is pretty much set in stone. Pantoja versus Van. You've got your title fight. Moreno versus Tyra, your title eliminator. Royval versus Kopp. Literally the following week after, maybe one of those guys makes a big statement. But obviously, with Kai Kara-France not being in the division anymore, everyone gets one green tick up. So Alex Perez and Asu Amabayev, we will be seeing them fight in Qatar this weekend. Tim Elliott still yet to be booked. I think they're going to do Tim Elliott and Steve Erceg. Tagir Ulanbekov taking on a pioneer and legend in Kyoji Horiguchi this weekend.
Yes,
so a lot of movement could be happening. That one. A lot of movement could be happening for flyweight because if Kyoji wins, suddenly he is a ranked flyweight and Tagir Ulanbekov would fall down. Charles Johnson, the ultimate gatekeeper. Bruno Silva, the ultimate gatekeeper. Joseph Morales. Chris, as you were alluding to, I'm kind of surprised they put him in the rankings this early, but you get a submission win over Matt Schnell. You win the Ultimate Fighter. I guess it does make substantial sense in a division where the unranked pool is not overly
as strong.
amazing. Yeah, I think Joseph Morales definitely made his way there, and Rafael Esteban at 15, a guy who's been super consistent as of lately. So overall, everyone just kind of moves one spot up. But I think after this weekend in Qatar, and really by the end of the year, this is going to flip-flop completely.
I definitely agree. Yeah, I think there's a lot of movement bound to happen in this division, especially it's very potent right now. I mean, there might not be the best talent, and I think we're going to talk about a division that has probably the best talent in the UFC currently. But I there's a lot of moving pieces, which I like. I don't like divisions that are very stationary, and I think that there's a lot of bookings happening right now, especially towards the end of the year. So hopefully for early 2026, even, towards the middle of next year, there will be a big shakeup. And I think we're going to start to see some things happen. And it all starts. Obviously, there's a few big flyweight fights that you just mentioned happening. But I think the first big shakeup is going to start at UFC 323 and the result of the championship fight between Pantoja and Josh Van.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. And as I mentioned, Almabayev Perez and Ulanbekov Horiguchi this weekend. I think that 8 to 15 range is going to be completely different. And maybe we revisit it next week. Again, if you guys like the content, make sure you like the video and let us know if you like it, because we can come with this every week and make it a weekly series. It will be fun.
Yeah. And I think we're about to go from a division that has a lot of green ticks to a division that is just full of red ticks. Look at all of this in the welterweight division right in the center of your screen.
Go ahead and zoom in. We'll go one by one.
We can go one by one. Obviously, Islam is the new welterweight champion after dethroning Jack Della Maddalena. So yeah, we'll do 1 through 7, and if you look at 7, look how far Sean Brady fell.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Rankings. Oh my God, Sean! I feel so bad for you. If you ever see this video, or anyone that sees this video, tell him I feel bad for him. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Yeah, I said 2 things to Chris in the past. One was that welterweight was going to be the new premier division of the UFC, but the other thing was that they did Sean Brady very dirty by giving him Michael Morales.
But yeah, and look at Morales, moves 5 ranks up, takes about to take Sean Brady's spot, but JDM loses. He becomes the number 1 contender. Obviously, Bilal moves down 1. Everyone kind of moves down 1. Shavkat, who was the number 1 contender at one point, is now sitting at 4. We know how Shrikar feels about Shavkat. I might be starting to feel the same way. And Shrikar shared a little. I don't know who posted it, but it was a Shavkat tweet compilation, and the past 3 championship fights that happened in welterweight. Okay, Shrikar's gonna find it. Shavkat is kind of just tweeting from the sideline saying, "Hey, like, nice performance, but you still gotta beat me, or I'm next." And that chain started about a year and a half ago now. Obviously, I hope that he gets better soon. I hope his road to recovery has been solid.
I can't find the tweet.
But
he's been calling out basically 3 different generations of champions, or not generations, but 3 different reigns, I should say.
Yes, no, and it's interesting. Like, I understand, but at the same time, you kind of have to realize what place you're in as a fighter, and you have not been active. So I don't understand how you can kind of just keep tweeting from the sideline. It's like you're talking from the sideline. So here, actually, I have the tweet that Shrikar sent. We're about to put it on the screen right now. It's actually pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna take that down for right now. We'll throw it up.
But y'all know me. I'm not the biggest on Shavkat. I've always felt he was a little overrated.
This is the Shavkat tweet chain.
All right, so we start with July. By the way, July 28th, 2024.
A year and a half ago.
It has been a year and a half. Well, not a year and a half since he fought, but congratulations on your well-deserved victory, Bully B, Bilal Muhammad. I hope you keep your word and defend your title against me when you're ready, champ. And hey, Bilal did. He did. Obviously, Bilal got hurt, and they set up Shavkat Gary at UFC 310.
310, yes.
But yeah, that was the first of it. And then after that, he sits out. JDM gets the belt. Congratulations to JDM. It was a great performance. After a long layover and injuries. Oh, buddy. Look at that irony in the sentence. You know I'm the real challenge at 170. Sooner or later, my time will come. Yeah, we're trending towards later, buddy. We're trending towards later. I don't think the sooner is happening anymore. He tweeted that back in May. And then finally, congratulations to Islam. Excellent performance. But the real challenge at 170 is still me. You got to prove it, man. You got to prove it. To me, you got to prove it. I just thought that was funny. You can pull the rankings back up. But Shavkat, you need a fight, man. Kamaru, you need a fight. Like that's the only way you're gonna make your name. Now, obviously, Kamaru could get it just because of the legend bias, but like I don't think that should be a thing. It was the same thing with Gaethje. I just don't think that should ever be a thing. And even in Gaethje's case, at least he was doing the UFC favors. Kamaru's 1-3 in his last 4 fights. Like
Shavkat said, the real challenge is him at 170. He must have got hit in the head during sparring and thought his name was Michael Morales now.
But it is crazy, man. The 2 upticks, Michael Morales moving up 5 spots, and Carlos Prates is a top 5 welterweight. Yep. And I talked about this with Chris before we started recording. I am now very open to the idea of having a real deal title eliminator between Michael Morales and Carlos Prates. Yes. Because Islam can wait. You know, he can wait a little bit. He was never the most active champ as it was. I do think that he can wait. Morales and Prates will be willing to scrap literally early 2026. I don't think they're going to take a big layover. If you want to set that up, would
that be insane?
That would be a fight of the year candidate. It would practically be a guaranteed banger, and one would stand alone. One would stand alone at 170. Now, obviously, the more how should I say this? The factor that's going to play into this division sooner is Bilal and Gary at UFC Qatar.
Right.
If Ian Gary beats Bilal Muhammad, whether it be by decision or whatnot, he will move up and take Bilal's spot. Just based on how much these rankings have been fluctuating, you can only assume. If Ian wins a decision, I still think he would not get the shot over a Morales-Prates winner. You know?
I agree. I need to see something special from him.
He literally needs a finish. He needs to put Bilal out. And he has 3 rounds. Am I betting on him to do it? I'll give you a little spoiler into my UFC Qatar predictions without revealing the pick. I don't think he finishes Bilal. I'm not going to tell you whether I think Bilal wins or Gary wins, but I don't think he finishes Bilal. So I don't see Ian getting the shot. I think they're going to go in a different direction. Now, obviously, the floor is yours to prove me wrong, Ian Gary. I've always been a supporter of you. I felt like you were always the most overhated fighter in the division and probably one of the most overhated in the UFC. I picked you against Shavkat, for Christ's sakes. I picked you against Shavkat.
A lot of hate.
Make a statement. Make a statement in Qatar. I will be there to watch it. I will literally be in attendance.
And I will be watching on my phone.
Type.
Yeah, but no, I agree. I need to see a little something special from Mr. Ian Machado Gary because, decision win against Bilal, someone who, constantly goes to decision. If you finish him, and JDM couldn't over a 5-round fight, if you finish him, that is pretty special. That is, that is a calling card to a welterweight title fight with Islam Makhachev, who really could fight pretty soon, in my opinion. He sustained little to no damage against Jack Della Maddalena. So I feel like Islam's kind of just, in the waiting room right now, waiting to be called in and sign the papers. But yeah, there's a lot of people who are clawing towards the top of this division. And I really like the move up for Morales and Prates. I think it's well-deserved. And look, the UFC favors when you finish people and you finish them in an emphatic fashion. So if Gary gets that done, I really think that he's next. And I hope they don't postpone that because he has also done what the company has asked him. He fought Shavkat when it really wasn't favorable for him. I mean, it was more of a for Shavkat, nothing to gain, everything to lose. And for Gary, it was more of everything to gain, nothing to lose. But look, this guy seems ready. He gets called, his name gets called, and he steps up. He does not shy away from fights. So I would like to see that. We can scroll down a little further. A lot of movement downwards too, especially Usman.
Kamaru is at 8.
Buckley is now at 10. Yeah, I mean, look, those 2 fights really changed the course of this welterweight division.
So I'm wondering who got booted from the rankings. I believe.
Yeah, who was it?
UFC rankings. I'm trying to think because I think a few people definitely just got booted from the rankings. Let's see here.
Was it Neil Magny? No.
Nah, no way. I don't think anyone got booted.
Was it Wonder Boy?
Wonder Boy was never ranked.
Yeah, he wasn't ranked. Yeah, who got?
Let us know in the comments. I feel like someone left the rankings. Good, but D-Rod is still at 15. Jeff Neal is still there. Colby's still there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Kamaru and Leon, man.
Was it Randy Brown? No,
Randy was never ranked either.
Oh, you know who it was? Joel Alvarez. Wasn't he at 15?
I don't think he got ranked. I don't think he ever got ranked after the Luque win.
Really? I thought he was at 15.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know. I wish we can go back.
But obviously, the most eye-popping part of this is Kamaru and Leon. Obviously, champion number 1 in the division just a couple of years ago. Look how far they fall. It's just kind of a crazy sight to see. Because even when Kamaru was inactive, he was still at like 3. But we've never seen him at like 8 or 9 in a while. So I think that's pretty crazy. Obviously, if we're talking from a matchmaking perspective, I would do Leon Edwards versus Gabriel Bonfim. I think that would make the most sense. I could see them doing Buckley too. But Kamaru, man, Kamaru's got to fight. They're not giving the 8th ranked contender a title shot, which, speaking of which, Paddy Pimblett just randomly moved up to, 5th.
Yeah. Here,
He's top 5 in the division. So it definitely clues you into who they want to give the big fights. And if this is any indication, Kamaru's not getting the big fight. He's got to fight again. I would do Kamaru versus, if they're not going to do Morales Prates, I'd do Prates versus Usman. I think JDM and Brady will be the next matchup there too. But overall, man, a lot of fluctuation in welterweight. We don't see divisions get reshuffled like this very often. But we felt like it was something we had to talk about tonight. And we'll see how everything shakes out. I mean, we'll see even more stuff when Bilal and Gary fight, but it'll be interesting for sure.
I definitely agree. But yeah, if anyone can remember who got booted from the rankings for welterweight, if anyone did, because now that I'm thinking about it, they could have just reshuffled things, and that's why it looks a little bit weird. I feel like someone was in the rankings that I just can't remember who got booted. I'm on Tapology right now too, and I don't really see anyone that I thought was ranked. My best guess, I guess, would be Joel Alvarez, but I don't think he was ever ranked. He was ranked in lightweight for a brief period of time, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Definitely comment down below. Let us know what you think if you like these videos. We would love to put out more content for you guys, especially when the rankings come out. It's something that we always talk about off camera. So if you guys want us to discuss it, even live stream our, reactions to the new rankings, we'd be more than happy to do it. You guys see our socials down below. Make sure you guys give it a follow. We're always trying for you guys, and we got Qatar coming up. Yo, Shrikar, you're going to Qatar to see the card. Give us your quick thoughts about what you're expecting.
I've been enamored with this card since all the fights got announced. I'm very, very excited. I think this is the best fight night of the year. Predictions are going to come out this week. We'll probably have it up for you probably tomorrow if you're seeing this when it drops. So
yes,
we'll have it for you tomorrow. It's going to be a fun one. Definitely some interesting predictions that I have right now. Still doing my film study, but we'll be ready. It'll be fun.
Yes, sir. I'm excited too. So I think that'll be it from us from the War Room with a special edition episode that we're looking to do more of. Like I said, you guys like the content, drop a like, drop a follow, drop a subscribe.
Share the video, help us out.
Share the video, show it to your friends, show it to your friends, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, everyone. We appreciate it. We like putting out content for you guys. And stay tuned for predictions this week. It's going to be a fun fight night, and I think you guys are going to like to see what we have to say. So for Shrikar Rajendran and Chris Schroyer from the War Room, see ya and have a good night.